Hello, everybody. As a few words before I start, there's nothing prepared, so I will just show what is my general approach when I play with OXI. After, I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, we'll see. But after we'll go a little more in depth what I did. So this is basically my workflow in studio, and I've been using this since the beginning, so it became my mostly only writing tool. So let's see where it goes. Thank you. So I lied because I don't do this at home because I don't have the subwoofer. So this was nice. Just to give you an idea what I did, first I love OXI. I've been an endorser of this product since a long time ago because I think it's the fastest way for me to translate what I like to do, my very simple melodic lines, and I found this to be the most easy and instant way for me to actually do music. And what I did tonight, I could have gone for hours, but starting from scratch, like I love having a sort of dialogue with my instrument, and how I create music is exactly like you see. Like I put down some trigs, like I did at the beginning. I had a good dose of effects because that helps, of course. But it all starts with few trigs. I like to keep my sequence in front of me, not a lot of pages. And what we had on Mark II is a lot of way to interact with your trigs. And few of the new things, it's these things called accumulator, which allow me to play with the pitch of the trigs. And even with just few trigs, I can start having interesting going on. We have an implementation called Flow, where it does a lot of stuff, but what you see before, I just add things. Oh, now I deleted them. And when I press Flow, as a sort of fill, these trigs get flagged. But this can activate also repetition, accumulator, a lot of behavior. So, and it's works on all the tracks. So with just the press of a button, you can have epic moments. Let's call it like that. Or no. We have this new performance page, which is still in development, but we had a few things that I think are brilliant. For example, I love duplicating this track, and I copy on track 2. Now I have the same track, but in performance I can tune down a little. I can transpose it, so this is gonna be my central tune, like not transposition, but then I can transpose 7 semitone ahead and back. Creating interesting, interchange between them. And also I can shift the two sequences. So now they don't fall at the same place and create some sort of delay between them. So it's a very fun way to interact with a simple sequence and see what happens. Then you can bring the flow in. You add a bass and you're happy. That's it. And I think I will ask any question if you guys have any. There's many other things that my colleagues will talk about. I am the simpleton of the OXI team. I like simple stuff. And this can be an instrument that is as complex, as deep, as simple as you want. But you can literally, as you see, start and create and have something decent in a real time and never interrupt the flow, like keep going, and gives a lot of satisfaction. And that's it. If you have any question, I don't know, we do question later. Later, all right.
Yeah.
Ciao. Thank you.
It's a nice question. So the idea is that, well, I don't know if you already know the MKI, the OXI One, the first version. We brought many cool features with the sequencer. But around 2 years ago, I started developing the new hardware with the main goal of offering more tracks. That was the main goal. And but then I stopped. I continued developing more features for the MKI, and last year we released the 4.6 version of the firmware. And at that point, I was already thinking that we needed a new hardware, right? And we needed a new hardware with that allowed me to overcome the limitations of the previous one. So the new hardware comes with, as you can see, 8 sequencers. We have more space now for new functions, and we have more direct access to some of the new features. It has a backlight, it has a slightly bigger screen, has bigger memory, so you can store more patterns and more projects. SD card slot, you cannot see from there, but it's here on the left, and a slightly improved battery management system. So I think MKI did a lot of things very good, which is more especially with on the melodic side, but I think it could be improved on the rhythmic side. So what I did in the MKI is adding a new repetition engine, which brings something, a new approach to the repetitions or the traditional MIDI delay. One of the things that I am most excited about. And then I also aimed for more performance tools, so that's why we added this performance layout. And I also added a new generator, which allows you to create kind of algorithmically melodies based on the input you give it to him. And last, of course, we improved the arranger as well, which now is kind of a better streamlined workflow. So let me show you first I will start from the repetitions. Let me load my project. So let's see if everything is playing correctly. So you can see I'm using the arranger where I have my ideas kind of organized in several slots. So I can launch one track after another. For example, I can now bring my drums. Now I can bring, for example, the melody. Everything is being played by choral, by 2 chorals, by the way. And as you can see, I can keep launching my patterns. All right, so sound check is fine. And let me clear everything and let's see what the repetitions are about, which is very interesting for me. So would be one single note. And now we can enter into the menu, into the step menu, and set the number of repetitions. So previously we only had retriggers like this. You hear kind of the retriggers, right? So 3, 4 retriggers, whatever. But now we can say, let's play 3 repeats in 2 steps. Let me remove the delay so we don't get confused by the delay. We can say 5 repetitions in 2 steps. or in 3 steps, or 7 in 4. And also we can play with the velocity groove and the time groove. So this is cool not only for, obviously, for drums, but also for melodies like I'm doing here. And I can just copy the step and place it somewhere else and change the number of repetitions and the groove. So you can create very nice rhythmic patterns this way. Imagine adding these two hats. And what is the cool thing that we can also randomize this. So imagine that I write some random melody here. So we can start spicing this up with repetitions, with random repetitions. These are straight repetitions, which means basically it's on the same division of the actual melody. But if we add now retriggers, kind of the retriggers and the repetitions are mixed between them. So you start. And if we add also random velocity, so if I remove all the randomizations, and I have a cool idea here with this kind of content. So if I remove all the modulations, this is all simple melody that can get very interesting if you start adding these tools. Oops, well, but that was the idea of the repeats. And there is a retrigger page specifically designed for that. I'm gonna clear all the randomizations and just program my repeats here. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting the number of repetitions as well as the duration of the repetitions in steps. So this will be like kind of ratchet, but now I can say 2-step. You see, right? And I can now add my groove velocity here. Get back to the velocity view. And I can just clear everything and add my steps here, boom. From the same retrigger view, okay? Well, that's the idea, right? You can create cool grooves with this tool. So this can also be applied to chords, and I have another pattern here, which is playing some nice chords with this repetition engine. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it was here. So this will be the chords. And now the repetitions are disabled until I press the flow button. So how this is done? Because you can go to the step menu and say, okay, I want 3 repetitions, the duration of 2, but there is a repeat. Well, it's hard to read there, but it will be a repeat probability. And the repeat probability can be 100%, can be 25, 75, so what you get is a repetition that is not always happening, but is random, or you can assign like a logic condition to this. So it happens 1 out of 2, or the amount of times that you decide. So it gets, you see now the repetition comes. I can lock flow. So now what I can, another topic, which is the arranger view. It's very comfortable to create all your patterns. They are all mixed together. You have different ideas in one same project. So how do you arrange them in order to play, right? So what I do is I go here to my arranger view, and I have my set from left to right. I even have more slots to the right if I want. So now I can like launch my patterns from there like I did before, right? So let's move to another track. Maybe I can filter a little bit the kick. Get back to here, launch my melody. let's go to another track. I remove my high end. Let's fade out the chords. So you see, right? I progress my arrangement right here in the arranger. I bring the elements back. Prepare the mutes. So another tool that we can use is the regenerator to create melodies right on the fly. So let's try it. Let's continue with this, maybe with this bass. And we can use, I can enter some notes here. So I put some notes on the grid, and now I use the generator to modify them, to add them, to change the rhythm. I can even add modify a little bit the pitch. I have kind of an automation of the filter. That's why when I turn it go up. And you can see there are kind of 8 modulation lanes. Before there were only 4 per track, so now you have way more control on the parameters of the synthesizers. I'm gonna disable it. And I can go back to my generator and remove again everything, put some notes back. And I can now bring back my random perform stuff. So these are basically all new features of the MKII. But of course we have the tools that I like from the MKI. Just that's one example. Well, this is a good thing that you can actually save your chords here. I don't know if you were aware of this feature. Like you can save your favorite chords and just play right from here. Or you can use let me change the preset here very quickly. And so this is the isomorphic layout of the keyboard, and we have an improved Arpeggiator where you can do stuff like this. So I'm playing with the octave voicing and the accent right now. I can hold. fault for not holding. I'm not sure if you already tried this Arpeggiator or already know it, the kind of way you can combine the grooves with the Euclidean generator and the octave voicings in order to perform, and then of course you can record whatever you play right on the sequencer. So well, that's my take on the MKII, and now my colleague is going to show his setup really quickly.
Okay, hi everyone. So basically wrapping this up. So I've been using OXI for a while now, and the thing that made me actually use this a lot for everything that I do is the fact that it's a tool that allows me to write fast ideas and even perform tracks. Because basically the way that I do music, it's all my tracks, all the stuff that I do are jams. So I like to sit down and I like to go crazy and be able also to perform or create stuff while I go, let's put it this way, with the OXI One. And in this version, other than the 8 sequencers that we added for people who have a lot of gear and they want to sequence everything at the same time, you can do it now very easily. You can even go crazy and even sequence 64 tracks, because you can have 8 multi-tracks with 8 sequencer lanes. So you can get crazy if you want. There's a few things here that we kind of improved that make things even more fun to play with it. So because I do believe that when you do music, you should have fun, right? So I'm gonna connect here my setup really quickly. So I'm gonna plug a gate to my kick here, and then to my hat over here. Oh, and can you get me a cable, please? Sorry. Yeah, anyway, thank you. And another one here. Actually, this one here, this one here. And then I'm going to connect my voice over here. Bear with me. So one of the things that we changed on this version is basically the CV gate matrix. For the ones who remember, this will be a little bit different. So now that we have 8 sequencers, things have to be more lean in a way. So now the way you can do this, so I want my gates for my drums, so I just say gate 1 for my kick, gate 2 for my closed hat, gate 3 for my open hat, and gate 4 for my synth voice here. And I also want to use the CV1 to basically send notes to my voice. And now you can just hold or press wherever you want, and you can select, well, on the screen here, what should this kind of CV be as pitch, velocity, LFO, modulation, and select the track, in the case of multi-track, which you want this to come from. So this is, for me, a much faster way to set up your CV configuration. When you have a lot of modules and gear and you use CV, this makes it much easier. So the way that I like to do stuff is always to experiment a little bit. And I do techno, so I'll go for the basic 4/4 stuff that, well, everybody knows. Okay, or a kick here. And one cool feature that I don't know if you guys are aware or not, we have a drum generator thing here that you can have patterns of drums, and you can even modulate and do stuff to create cool rhythms. So just press the random button, you activate your drum generator, and then you can just basically do whatever you want with it. So we can go to the menu here, pressing the blue LED pad, and we can select from various patterns, increase the density, and you can have something going on here. And the cool feature that we added, that I think most of you can relate, which is like having grooves, right? So just like Ableton Live has many types of grooves that you can apply to your drums, to your melodies, we have also the same here. So I'm here, and I'm gonna go to my groove. I'm gonna pick a groove. I can even add on top of my drums. So basically, making this more interesting. You can even randomize this, which is cool. Let's add our basic thing. We can even, and we before had our random generator, right, where we can generate stuff. We can come here, we have our random generator as we used to have, like you can just click and you can get your thing. But a cool idea is that Manuel showed here. You can place a few triggers if you want. Then you can come to generate. You can change your sequence using your Euclideans. But then you can basically, you created a sequence that you like, but you think like, okay, let me try other stuff and see if I can get something more inspiring or pleasant for you. And with the generator, basically it is not a non-destructive generator. So with the random generator, it will be destructive. Whatever you had there, you generate something new, you can go back, sure, but it always kills what you had. With the generator here, it's fun because at any moment you can come back to your initial idea, and that's a cool way to do an A/B thing and see, oh, maybe my initial idea was better, or maybe I prefer this one. And I find these tools inspiring when, like for example, I can increase the density here, want more notes, I can have a longer range, or can have also negative and positive range as well. And let's say this will be my track, more or less, but okay. And the cool thing that I really appreciate here is Federico Ora talked about the performance menu. And something that I always had a bit of a complaint, that it really now makes my life easy, is now that I have, in the performance view, I have mutes. So basically I can just come here and mute what I want. Because before, if you had like your drums on, let's say, on the multi-track, and then you had your synth line on sequencer 1 and your bass on sequencer 2, if you wanted just to mute at the same time, let's say, your bass line and your kick and your hat, it will be messy. Now with this, it's much more faster and easier to perform at any moment. Which if you like to do music this way, or if you perform, this is awesome. And yeah, and you can mute anything, any moment, anytime you want. So these guys talked about almost everything. My take on this is that it's even became a more creative tool, and most of all, you now have a bigger arsenal to make something that is very stiff. So like for example, my 16 hi-hats over here, that are dull, and with the grooves that we can apply, with the generator, the random performance, all of that stuff now can make something boring and interesting, which is very cool to create variations. You can always come back, so making interesting stuff. Yeah, so I just wanted to reference those small things because they talked about everything and they did it very well. And now if you have questions, you have stuff, we'll be glad to take them, to all of us. And yeah, I hope you really enjoyed what we've been working and still are working on continuously. So yeah, that's it.